Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of our nightly NBA Outlook recaps. All right, Raymond only got 4 games. There's like 72 tomorrow, but we're going to focus on the four that are being played tonight. We got Raymond Lyons here, Wilson Turpay Jr. And I want to start with the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Miami Heat. Mike Muscala makes a three-pointer with 5.2 seconds left, and the Thunder rally from 22 down in the fourth to beat the Miami Heat 116-115. Darius Baisley, young man's had a nice little stretch of games, honestly. I feel like every
Mhm.
time we're talking on the night that he's playing, um, he's producing. So credit to him. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander had an 18. But they outscored the Heat 34-15 in the fourth quarter. Tyler Hero had 30, and then Duncan Robinson, he spent the whole clip in the first half. All 19 came in the first half. So your thoughts on that?
I mean, you pretty much got through the big points. Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo didn't play the second half. I mean, with their playoff seeding already locked up, they just figured it was some time to get some guys some rest, especially in their situation. Like they know what they plan. It's a 4-5 game, no matter what. No home court advantage, so no need to press the issue. But early on, Miami looked like they had this one in the bag. They just kind of collapsed down the stretch. It's not too much to make of it because it was basically a battle of the benches. And OKC's outdid Miami's by far. OKC finally got Steven Adams and Nerlens Noel back, so I'm pretty sure they were happy to see them out there. Still missing Dennis Schroeder. He's home dealing with his wife and newborn. Little fireworks. CP3 was going to Duncan Robinson a little bit, threw the ball off his back. then the next play, Jimmy Butler kind of stepped in for his youngin and put C3 on the ground there. So I appreciate Jimmy Butler so much, man.
But,
But
but
yeah,
no,
so
go ahead.
OKC got a close win, and that's set them up for a first round matchup with the Rockets. So that should get real interesting.
Nah, that's gonna be fun, and there's nothing better than a scorned petty Chris Paul, right? Nothing better than to see that in a series. All right, the Toronto Raptors. Again, there's gonna be a theme tonight, tomorrow, Friday night. Outside of like literally 3 or 4 key games, a lot of teams they're playing their depth. Okay, some teams are like Raymond said. A lot of people know who they're gonna facing already. Look, man, everybody got time for that. So these last few days, they are a formality. Outside of that race in the West, where it's just real ugly because the Suns acting brand new, Dame's trying to be in the playoffs, and just the West being the West. Outside of that, little cluster. A lot of people don't care about nothing. They're comfortable with where they're at. They just ready to go get these games over with, take their good health into the rest of this, and get ready for the first round. The Raptors beat the Sixers 125-121. Stanley Johnson with the go-ahead basket with 4.9 seconds left, giving the Raptors acting head coach for the night, Adrian Griffin, the W. Nick Nurse. He took the night off. His assistant ran the show tonight. Kyle Lowry, Chris Boucher had 19 apiece. Norman Powell had 17. Pascal Siakam with 15. And B played just 14 minutes. So your thoughts on how this one?
Man, this might be the first time we saw a coach load manage. Yeah, like you said, Nick Nurse handing over the reins for the night to Adrian Griffin. It's good to see stuff like that, though. Give a guy a taste of it. Just to when his opportunity comes, he knows what that feels like, even if it's just for one game. It's still different when you're the guy standing up. You know, but yeah, first half Philly couldn't hold on to the ball. They had 11 turnovers. Um, Joel Embiid, and he's still being held together by bubble gum and popsicle sticks. He had a wrist injury. Like he just has bad luck with injuries, man. Like his whole career, like and it affects him in so many ways because he can never be healthy enough long enough to get in real shape, and that shows in his game a lot. There are times when he just flat out looks lazy out there, and it's because his conditioning is poor. So, so hopefully moving forward, he can get a handle on that. As far as Toronto goes, they struggle from the line. They didn't really shoot well, but they do a lot of things that keeps them in games and helps them win games. They take care of the basketball. They play great defense, and even though they weren't shooting well, they move the ball and get good shots. So it's not like like coaches say a lot of times bad shots are pretty much turnovers. So they don't have a lot of them. So they give themselves an opportunity to at least be able to get back and set up on defense. Even off their misses, it's not a lot of times where teams get the rebound and get out and run on them.
Right.
For Philly, Tobias Harris, good game, 22, 6 and 5. Um, it's good to see Mario Shayok get some burn, man. He was a G League standout. He averaged 22 this past season for the Phillies G League affiliate, Delaware Bluecoats. I got to see some of him covering the go-go. Talented guy, man, on both ends. Both benches played really well down the stretch. It was fun to see the starters on the sideline hyping them up.
Right.
I think just being in this bubble atmosphere, these guys, they're probably a little more close knit than they've ever been before because the confinement is just something they haven't experienced. But Toronto squeezed out a close win. Chris Boucher led the way for them, 19 points and 9 rebounds.
Yeah, and then just to keep in mind again for those next couple games for these teams that do have another game or two. The Sixers, they're locked into the sixth seed. They'll be taking on the Celtics in the first round. The Raptors, they're the second seed. They will be taking on the seventh seeded Nets. So just a little, just so you guys are aware. So when you see them playing a couple days and it looks like no one's playing for anything, it's because they got their spots. Letting you guys know. The Pacers, he talk about tricking things away, right? We're coming very close to it. The Pacers were up 104 to 90 with 5:05 left in the fourth. Then the Beard got the bearding. He scores 11 to 14. He scores 11 to 14 points in Houston's run. Cut it to two. Miles Turner and company were able to pull it out though, but Turner had 18 points. Edmund Sumner, who's a very good young player, that the Pacers did a great job of extending. This might be like year 2 or 3 for him.
Mm-hmm.
But for the Pacers, they were able to hold on to get the W. Malcolm Brogdon and T.J. Warren did not play. Again, guys, resting for the playoffs for the teams that are comfortably in this. For the Rockets, the Beard had 45 points, 17 rebounds, which was a career high for him, and 9 assists. Jeff Green added 14. But how about this? The team that loves jacking up threes, right? 16 of 57.
That's just gonna continue to be a thing for them, man. Like every time they have a game like this, I think back to what was that year they played Golden State in the conference finals, game 7. I think it was 2017.
Yeah, when they missed 33s in the quarter or whatever.
In a row. Like, come on, man. They got to figure this out. Like this is not going to get them to where they want to be. But Westbrook sat out again, still dealing with the right quad injury. Said he's going to be reevaluated before the playoffs. I think they're just being extra cautious with him, especially now with things pretty much wrapped up. Like you said, it's no need to force the issue. Indiana put up 100 shots today. So they man. They gave Houston a taste of their own medicine, man.
Hey, look, Indiana was like, "Oh, so y'all want to play fast?"
Yeah, man, they got up 100 shots and had 15 steals, forced Houston into 20 turnovers overall. So this was just a helter-skelter game, man. Like, tough to watch at times, but it was action packed, that's for sure. But yeah, it's not too much to write home about with this one. We're just in a home stretch here. I think teams are really just waiting for the seeding process to be over and get straight to the playoffs. I think people are pretty much in rhythm by now. They got their legs back, and which pretty much they wanted to do in this early part. The only fireworks really has been the AC race in the Western Conference.
Yep.
You know, pretty much all the other teams knew what it was going to be. So so yeah, that's been the only urgency we've really seen outside of a couple games, like those Lakers Clippers matchups and games like that.
All right.
But yeah, Indy with the 4-point win.
I'm gonna raise you nothing to write home about with that game for the one to end of the night. Clippers beat the Nuggets 124-111. PG, Kawhi, and Lou, they are 27, 26, and 23 points respectively. The Joker was 17 points and 13 assists, 7 boards as well. To let you know what type of time Denver was on tonight, no one played more than 28 minutes.
Yeah, man. But like I'm glad you laid it out at the beginning of the show because it is what it is at this point. Shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. Just getting guys reps. This is basically pretty much almost like preseason at this point.
Yeah.
The starters out there just to get a sweat and keep their rhythm and just keep the momentum going. Then once they're good and loose and they've gotten through a couple things, they go ahead and take a rest and let the bench guys get in. Like it's not I know people are probably looking at this and like what the hell are these guys doing, but it's perfectly logical at this point. Good to see Lou Williams looking like himself again.
Right.
The Clippers, man, they are, and they're still missing a huge piece in Montrez, but looks like he'll be back soon. But they really need to just get tuned up, for the playoffs. And the first round series is pretty much going to be that. I expect it to go probably longer than people think it is, just for the fact that they're just probably trying to get back to 100.
Yeah, I mean that's where I'm at with it. Like I honestly feel like tonight was the reason you saw Denver, no one playing more than 28. Then tonight you see Kawhi, PG, and Lou playing kind of heavy minutes, not heavy minutes, but they played a good amount of minutes. Right, they got good work in tonight. I guess is the right way to say it. And
Yeah,
I also would anticipate them not. We're not going to see the three of them playing another game until the playoffs start. I would not be very surprised if this was literally for those three, and that was their dress rehearsal. From here on, I think the youngins are going to take care of business to the playoffs start. That was because we saw them stagger them. Then tonight we see them together. I think that's a wrap into the playoffs. But I
hmm
want to thank you guys for tuning in. For Raymond Lyons, Wilson Tarpe Jr. Hope you guys enjoyed this edition of the NBA Outlook Recap.